Welcome back to the channel, football fans. It seems a crazy night of football. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Manchester United 0 at the Europa Cup final. Ange Postecoglou told us some months ago that he usually wins trophies in his second season, and he has done it, beating Manchester United. Not the most pleasant or fashionable ways to do it, but he did it anyway. He beat Manchester United in the Europa Cup final and lifted Tottenham's first trophy in the last 17 years. I remember very well, like yesterday, the last time Tottenham lifted the trophy was in February 2008, the Carling Cup, and that was against Chelsea, the Carling Cup final. And 17 years later, they're lifting a Europa Cup against all odds after a very terrible season. 17th in the league, playing against the 16th in the league. You could say this final was a clown fest because we expected nothing spectacular in this game. But Manchester United looked, from the very first minute, looked like the team that wanted the trophy most. Played, had more attempts on goal, 16 shots on target, not on target, 16 shots against Spurs, and had most of the possession in the first half, over 70% possession in the first half. Second half, even 80%, and they couldn't find the back of the net, couldn't take their chances. You could say Tottenham Hotspur were lucky because in the way they played, they couldn't even have at least 2 to 3 string of passes before losing the ball, and they just sat back to defend. But in the defense, they held it down. They defended really well. We must give it to them because you could say they played terrible football. They've been terrible this season generally. They played terrible football. Yes, let's be honest. Tottenham were terrible tonight, but in defense, they held it down. And give it up to Van de Ven. The touchline clearances he did was magnificent. You could say that touchline clearance gave Spurs that trophy. Wow, what a clearance! He gave his all tonight for Spurs, and you need to give it up to some of the players as well. Richarlison, I think he did what he could. He did some dirty job for Spurs, picked up a yellow card and subbed off for Son, and Son came in, and so I expected Son to run at Manchester United a bit, but I didn't see much of that. I think he just had one counter which he couldn't even do much with the ball. He went back, sat back with the team, defended, and they held it down till the very last minute. Give it up for Spurs. Manchester United, on the other hand, they were the better team. You could say they were the better team, but even though they lost, they were the better team. They looked like the team that wanted it the most in terms of creating chances, trying to get on the score sheet. But once the Spurs got on the score sheet on the 42nd minute, that was it for them, and they sat back, held down their lead. But for United, they were very unlucky. I'm still surprised Luke Shaw played out the whole 90 minutes. I'm surprised Luke Shaw played out the whole 90 minutes because in the first half I felt he should have come in the second half. Had too many mistakes, made so many mistakes. I think the fifth one led to the goal, which his hand touched the ball. He shouldn't. There was no way he wouldn't have let Johnson get in front of him. And a couple of times I saw Maguire chatting with him, and he looked off from the very first minutes. You could say Luke Shaw cost United the game, and you wouldn't be wrong because he was off on the night. Generally, I think Spurs, the night was meant for Spurs to win it. That's just it. There was nothing United could do. Feel bad for Bruno. He gave his all, played his heart out, and Maguire was good today. And In the defense, Lenny Euro was decent. Maguire, Onana didn't really have a busy night on apart from the goal, which he couldn't keep out, and I don't think that was much of his fault. But generally, the United players, they were decent, but they couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. Hoyland couldn't. Zexi came in. Garnacho came in, and I think he was kind of decent. But if you lose in this manner and you don't put the ball in the back of the net, there's nothing good the fans can say about your side. Tottenham, congrats to them. Great win, massive victory. One player I think really needed this trophy after all those years of balling for Spurs. A player that needed that trophy, Heung-min Son. Really, you need to really give it to him. Stuck with Tottenham in the bad times, the good times. Stuck with them, even though they failed to win trophies over the years, and finally they've gotten this trophy, and he lifted the trophy. Beautiful scenes there. Lifted the trophy for Spurs. Congrats to them. Massive win. So Manchester United wanted to find a way, wanted to sneak into the Champions League through the back door. Crazy. And this Europa, they weren't even meant to play this Europa. Won the FA Cup against Manchester City last season and qualified for the Europa through the back door. And this time around, they wanted to make it to the Champions League through the same back door. And it's crazy. It's crazy how bad United have been the whole season, 16th in the league, and unfortunately, Spurs had to use that back door this time around to get into the Champions League. Well, it is what it is. 16th against 17th, playing the Europa Cup final. Two terrible sides, and of course we expected one to win, and I bet most fans are glad it wasn't Manchester United. So guys, drop your thoughts in the comment section on what you think about the Europa final and Tottenham lifting the trophy. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Congratulations again to Tottenham Hotspur and Ange Postecoglou. So guys, see you in the next one. Cheers.